He's getting ready for tonight's draft. Kevin Nagani here with you with our crew in New York. The Hall of Famer, Michael Wilbon, is here along with our insider, Dan Graziano. I've got my quarterback here, Jordan Rogers, ready to go. Dan Orlovsky's in Pittsburgh this morning. Football in a moment, but first, the performance of the night, and that is Suns Thunder Game 2, and really it's about this young man, SGA. OKC coming off a 35-point win in Game 1, second largest in a playoff opener by a defending champion. Let's continue to watch Shai Gilgeous-Alexander continue to put up the work. He was fantastic, driving, step back, money. Thunder up by 1 after 1 quarter. Second quarter, they start to pull away. Dillon Brooks, thanks for playing. After the jumper, SGA points at Brooks. Yeah, this guy's on me, 37 points for SGA. And then Jalen Williams, they have so many options, young options. Chet Holmgren, boom. Thunder up by 11, and here comes the separation. Find the big man, the easy flush. He had 11 points and 3 blocks. Holmgren in the third, finished with 19. Something to watch. Jalen Williams pushing, He would head to the locker room with an aggravated left hamstring. He has not been healthy all season long. He would not return. Under 4 minutes in the third. Thunder up by 12. SGA burying the 3. OKC up by 15. All right, here's the drama. The other Jalen Williams on the floor. Devin Booker gets the ball and a foul called on the play. Fouls on Williams, but after the play, Book gets called for a tech. He can't believe it. You see the officials talking. Booker throws the ball backwards to keep the ball in play. And then you'll see Alex Caruso looking for a technical foul on Booker immediately afterwards. The Thunder would run away with it, winning by 13. They go to Phoenix up 2-0. But really the storyline is what exactly happened with that technical, and then Devin Booker went off.
For my 11 years, I haven't called a ref out by name, but James was terrible tonight, through and through. It's bad for the sport, bad for the integrity of the sport. You know, people are going to start viewing this as a WWE, you know, if they're not held responsible. It just feels disrespectful. You know I haven't won a championship in this league, but I have been in it for 11 years now. So to get to this point, to be treated like that, for me to even be saying something out loud, it's bad.
Oh, he knows what he's doing here with Michael Wilbon. He's talking about James Williams, the official there in that conversation. Michael, first off, you don't hear stuff like that from D-Book ever in his career.
No.
What's going to be the ramifications of the comments, and how should the league handle it?
The ramification is going to be write a check, a sizable one.
Yeah.
That's a direct hit. You don't hear calling out a referee by name. Yes, he did it intentionally. We're used to coaches doing this on off days, historically, right? I mean, for decades, you'd have Phil Jackson and Pat Riley going at it, and Greg Popovich and Chuck Daly, and you'd have, you know, all these coaches doing this intentionally. They take their fine. Who knows whether the team would pay it or not? But to have, first of all, it's a bad call. He's throwing the ball back in to save it so that it goes off an opposing player out of bounds. It's a bad call. He wasn't tossing a ball at him. But I don't know that the league is going to take that into account necessarily, because Devin's going to get hit.
They all know the rules. I mean, you're going to have to deal with it. You can't specifically call out a referee in a news conference post-game. The emotional experience with Devin Booker is always flatline. So when he calls somebody out, all the attention and the conversation specifically is not about the Thunder. We will get to that right now with Jalen Williams going down. And again, I mentioned it before. He hasn't been healthy for most of the season.
Only played 30-some games in the regular season.
Yes, 23 minutes last night. Concern with this hamstring here lingering for a deep playoff run.
Absolutely. We're talking about a guy who's an all-league level player. And even though they were just fine in the regular season, largely without him. I mean, he missed, 50 games essentially. You heard SGA refer to it, and he said, down the line, to do this, we're going to need him. And they will need him. But, hamstrings, we could be talking weeks. So what happens? This series, the Suns are not going to be able to do much. But in the next series coming up, I don't know. They're going to he could rest. They're going to get the Lakers.
Yep.
It looks like. But at some point when you get to that next round against Denver, against San Antonio, against one of those teams, they're going to need Jalen Williams.
Or even Minnesota.
Or
We'll
even,
see how that plays
let me
out,
not
right?
discount Minnesota.
Understood. Yes. And we're going to continue that conversation on the NBA playoffs later on this hour. Let's right now go to the NFL.
Players with no chill, right? No chill. It's the Oklahoma City Thunder and their defense. They have the best defense in the NBA, and even saying that isn't good enough. It's underselling it. They were sensational. They forced 17 turnovers, and they scored 34 points off of those turnovers compared to the Suns' 2. And guess what? Most importantly, they took care of the ball. They only committed 6 turnovers themselves. Very similar to what we saw with the Houston Rockets. They have a strategy versus the Sun Star that is doubling Devin Booker, and his teammates so far have not been able to make them pay, which is why they just keep ramping up the temperature. So, I mean, I guess it's good that you don't lose by 50, you lose by 30, but we want this to be a little bit closer. But it's hard to do that when you're going up against these guys who are just stifling defensively.
Yeah, during the regular season, OKC set the record for the most 30-point wins in the season. They had 11 of them. So that's just what they do, I guess. You can get more of Chennai, 3 p.m. Eastern, on NBA Today following the Sports Center. To the NBA and a pair of Game 2s on ESPN tonight. Pistons trying to avoid an 0-2 deficit against the Magic. Thunder looking to go 2-0 up over the Suns. We got reporters at both games, Ohm Youngmisuk and Tim McMahon. We begin with Ohm in Detroit. Ohm, what can you share about the Pistons looking to bounce back tonight and return to the top seed form that they showed in the regular season?
Yeah, Jay, the Pistons did not look like their normal selves. Orlando took it to them right from the get-go and kind of gave them a dose of their own medicine. Physical, stifling defense. A defense that held all-star big man Jalen Duren to 8 points and 7 rebounds and just 4 shots. Now, at practice yesterday, I watched Duren. Normally stays after practice late, but what he was working was he had an assistant coach behind him on his back. One on the perimeter ready to sag at any point, and another assistant just waiting in the paint. And all 3 would collapse on him at different times from different angles. Duren said the Magic collapsed on him from every angle possible. He needs to adjust. I said, does that mean more than 4 shots? He said, that is not enough. He said that twice. So he definitely vows to be more aggressive. He says it's on him. And the Pistons are confident that they're going to show that they were the top team in the East.
Yeah, that 4 field goals attempted, matching a season low. Ohm Youngmisuk in Detroit. Thank you, my brother. Hannah?
Well, Jay, coming up at the top, NBA playoffs, Oklahoma City just dominating Phoenix, led by as much as 39 points in Game 1. As we say howdy to our friend Tim McMahon covering this series. We saw the Thunder roll against what looked like a really tired Suns team coming out of the play-in. But the biggest thing was J-Will, right? Jalen Williams back, missed so much of the season. What can you tell us about his return to form?
Yeah, no question J-Dub's performance was the most important element, big picture, for the Thunder. Look, they got the overall top seed with him missing the majority of the season, coming off a wrist surgery, dealing with a hamstring that he strained twice, but they know how much they need him at his best to make another championship run. And as Shai Gilgeous-Alexander said, he looked comfortable out there. He said, we're the best version of ourselves. When he's the best version of himself, we've got to keep him there. And it wasn't just playing off of Shai Alexander. The Thunder really pulled away early in the second quarter when Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's resting. Jalen Williams getting in the teeth of the defense, knocking down his mid-range, knocking down threes. That's the SGA sidekick they need for the rest of these playoffs.
Yeah, SGA and J-Dub combining for 47 points. And by the way, holding Phoenix to 30% shooting. Thanks.
Hey, speaking of the Thunder, they're currently a 17.5-point Game 2 favorite at DraftKings Sportsbook. They would be the 4th largest favorite in any playoff game since 1990-91, joining some elite company. That includes 2 first-round matchups for the Bulls in the 92 playoffs against the Miami Heat. And Joe Fortenbaugh has more on tonight's historic spread. My friend, how would you bet the Thunder in Game 2?
Fun fact about that spread, based on market price